All right, let's call the meeting in order. Have roll call, please.
Here.
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 Here. Here.
Okay, we have no citizens input. We'll move on to consent agenda. Ask for anything to be held for separate discussion.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Call roll, please.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
That is approved 5-0. The first item is review of the proposed ordinance amendments, chapters 105 through 156.
For City Council's consideration, I prepared a summary of what we're doing, as well as the other attachments are the full ordinances. For the chapter 110 through 122, we're not making any changes. In chapter 122, it's our peddlers, solicitors, and transient merchants section. What we're doing here is increasing the permit fee for the application, as well as the permit fee for the fee to operate from a month-to-month basis, and also changing that to be set by resolution versus setting the fee by ordinance. And then there's a section 122.12 for revocation and suspension. And we're using updated language that's consistent with other local municipalities. Want me to pull that ordinance up? So here's the current ordinance. And here is where we're amending the application fee. So it was $50, and we're changing that fee to $100, but we're also changing the fee to be set by resolution. All the other requirements there stay the same. And then in the permit fees, again, we're just changing it to be the fee would be set by resolution, and then added the section for revocation and suspension that's consistent with other municipalities. And then there's a penalty. The penalty is a municipal infraction.
Council, any comments, questions, or discussion?
I have one question. For the fee, does that cover like a one event thing, or does that cover a season? I'm looking at the ice cream truck.
It
Right.
could be a season, because you can do it for 1 month, or you could do it for a period of months.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. Beth, when do you plan to bring these and the other changes back? Remind us for final approval.
I'm hoping to get these changes that we're going through now to go back to the codification company to put them into a form for council approval. So I don't know if they'll have it ready January or February.
Okay, fine. All right, nothing else on the ordinances? Before we go into closed session, I wonder if we could move on to the reports, if you just release the department. Yeah,
Yeah, that is the first ordinance. There's others.
I can't get into board docs. Sorry. No, I can't. I can sit at my desk and open board docs, and I come in here and I can't for no reason. Apologize.
There's chapter 124, surveillance cameras. Talked to Tom about this, and somewhat dated. And in fact, I think the ordinance talks about VHS tapes, and also looking at other municipalities, they don't have this ordinance. And also with the current technology that's come on board, that the places where we would have surveillance, like banks and like Casey's, they all have their own cameras anyways, just as a matter of practice. That's one of the recommendations why to delete that. Next was also like tattooing. Again, tattooing. It's something that's generally not in other city codes, and I don't think tattooing has taken on a whole life from when these ordinances written as to where they're at. Another reason to delete this chapter. The tattooing is governed by our zoning ordinance as to where it can be placed. If it would, so if somebody would want to open a tattoo parlor. Recommend to add is a chapter for mobile food vendors and call it chapter 126. I drafted an ordinance for mobile food vendors, where they can operate, how to get a permit, the licensing is, where they can be at, their signs, their permit fees. Again, the fee would be set by resolution.
Do we have a fee set for this right now then? Or
For a
is it-
mobile food vendor,
Yeah,
no, we do not really regulate. They're more by I guess they could be under our peddlers and solicitors, but they're not really peddler solicitor either. They don't really fit that definition.
so we would have to put that fee in before we can enact this ordinance?
The plan is to make the fees effective when the ordinance is passed.
Okay, so we'll do the fees and the ordinance at the same time?
Yeah.
Okay, and then as far as enforcement, would that be the police officer that checks their permits, or who checks to see if they've paid their permit?
It would be a police officer or somebody at City Hall.
Okay, thank you.
Curbs, the curbs and specifications really were basically changing probably the next couple sections, 135, 136, and 140 to all, and 141. The biggest changes there is to get those all and to use the statewide urban design and specifications manual as the standard for construction. Chapter 153 will probably come back and revisit that. There's just been some recent legislative changes from this past spring that are still being digested as far as how to implement the changes that the legislator proposed or are making cities apply or adhere to, but yet how it's going to affect our current ordinances. And then chapter 165 for the zoning code was amended May 14th. And then I'm going to make chapter 166 our subdivision regulations. That just needs to have a whole comb through. So, any questions on any of the proposed ordinances? There's no action on this tonight.
Yeah, I guess I'll ask you on the ordinances. Is there gonna be a way to differentiate between walkways, sidewalks, and trails, and what constitutes what? And where they're legal and where they're not?
Well, there is a definite definition between of a sidewalk and a trail.
As an example, on Spring Green, we have a walkway with parking on one side of the street. Does that fall in this ordinance somewhere where,
We don't have a walkway on Spring
what do you
Creek.
call it when they walk in the street?
They're just walking on the street.
I see where Bob's going with that, and is there no designation for that walking lane on Spring Green then?
No.
Okay.
That was something we chose not to call it.
Okay.
There's no
That-
parking on Seipel or Peacock, and they're not considered anything different either, just a street with no parking.
Okay, that's fine.
I mean, we chose not to paint stripes, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Okay, fair enough.
Anything else on the ordinances then?
Just if you read through those and you have any questions, just, these will go to codification company to be codified, to be brought back probably the January, February to be approved.
Well, just Bob's question, you want to make a note, because walkway is, where and how, when is walkway defined? Okay. If there's nothing else, then I'll ask again, we move up the reports so the department heads can leave if they need to.
Yes.
Motion to accept the police GM reports.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Alrighty then. Ask for a motion to enter into closed section per section 21.5, 1C of the Code of Iowa.
So moved.
Session 1.
Sorry, so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Who was
Opposed?
the second, please?
Bob was the second.
All right, I think we want Nate and Blaine for the first session. You want Chief to, if you go to him, leave him for the night? You're good, Tom. We'll be all right. Craig?
This is our last session for the year.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's been a very productive year. There's been a lot of things that has occurred with this council. I'd like to thank everyone for all their time and efforts in making this work so well together. So with that, happy holidays to everyone, and I hear there's snow coming.
Thank you, Russ.
Just want to tell everybody to have a safe, happy holiday.
Bob?
Same thing.
Aaron?
Have a good holiday.
Okay, the Christmas tree lighting was a success this year. Thank you to everybody who helped out. I think a lot of people enjoyed it, and everybody have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
All right. I don't have
I
any,
think the mayor got cold.
stay long enough. I don't have anything, Beth, any correspondence?
Nope.
All right.
Night.
Can I make a motion to adjourn?
Would you please, Bob?
Second.
In a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Had to get it in last.
Yeah.
Hey, Blaine.
A whole month, almost a whole month.